Welcome everyone to the Chompcast, the official podcast of Sword Chomp. Thank you for taking time to download our podcast or stream it. Taking some time out of your busy life to listen to us. If you're digging the show, please subscribe and leave us a kind rating. It really helps our show a ton in reaching new people. My name is Morgan Barnes. I am live here from Montana. I'll be your host today, and joining me, my co-host, Anthony Fisher.
In the flesh, I'm right next to Morgan Barnes, right here in Montana as well, on vacation.
So close to me. This is going to be our nightmare for our listeners because me and Fish have been best friends forever, and this was a weird show today because Shay and Josh couldn't be here. They had some life obligations.
Yep.
You just happened to be on vacation in Montana.
I just so happen to be here, so this is kind of a special episode, I would say, because we're doing it both in the same podcast room, looking each other dead in the eyes. So.
Mm-hmm. You're going to be looking at me dead in the eye the whole time?
The entire time.
I'm about comfortable with that.
Okay.
Sometimes you got to look away.
You got to keep Morgan comfortable, I guess.
Yeah, so this is the infamous podcast closet. How do you feel about it?
That's pretty cozy. I like it in here. You got some blankets just draped down to kind of cancel out some of the noise. A lot of figurines around here. I see some Pokemon. And
it's nerded out, isn't
Donkey Kong.
Yeah, I got the Final Fantasy people. I got the Pokemon stuffed animals. All the weird nerdy things I've collected throughout my life. Like, you get to that weird point, especially as I got older, where I'm like, why did I collect all this shit? Why did I buy this, right?
But you got to repurpose them.
Yeah. But now that I found a big box, I was like, let's just decorate my podcast room, put all that nerdy shit to use. Yep. So it's awesome. But we have a really cool show today because, as we mentioned, Fish is here in Montana. Just me and him, we are co-hosting this podcast for Sword Chomp. And that is the theme of today's show. Cooperative video games.
Yes. Yeah.
Co-op magic. We didn't want to do anything inspired by the news because Josh and Shay couldn't be here. So I was thinking, let's delve into the idea of cooperative games and talk about some of our favorites. But on top of that, besides the topic of the show, you've been here all week. I have been forcing you to play a lot of games that I really wanted you to check out.
Yeah. Mainly VR.
Mainly VR. So yeah, sorry for listeners who might be sick of that. This should be the last big week that we splurge about VR.
Well, the thing is, like, the past podcast that I did do, that you were talking about VR, I was very, what would you say?
Skeptical?
Yeah, very skeptical, kind of harsh on VR, but I think I've come around on VR, actually trying out the PlayStation VR.
Come around a little bit. So that's going to be fun to talk about.
Yeah.
One classic game that we did, traditional game I should say, you played Zelda Breath of the Wild. You played like an hour and a half of that.
Yeah.
So that's going to be fun to talk about. So we have some Resident Evil 7 talk, like you mentioned, Job Simulator, Thumper, ton of VR. Ukulele, played a little ukulele. Mm-hmm. We've been playing a lot of Magikarp Jump, which is...
Yeah.
Every time I play Magikarp Jump, I'm going to think of our vacation now. And... there's too many to name. It's going to be a great show. But yeah, when I was thinking, Fish, about trying to do a topic for today, like the co-op thing, like some of our favorite games, the idea of co-op, it kind of struck me because in a weird way, cooperative games kind of ruin the magic of multiplayer games now. And by that I mean, I grew up playing games with my friends and family on the couch, right?
Uh-huh.
And then... especially when I met you, we played a lot of games together cooperatively. Yep. And then we sort of moved into this era where everyone just gets online and plays these shooters just with a bunch of random people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The Call of Duties, these big team matches. And I would fight all these strangers or murder all these strangers, whatever the game we were playing happened to be, right? And I started to realize that it wasn't as exciting for me as like that feeling of sitting there playing with someone because I knew that person so well, sitting right there on my couch with me, playing that co-op game, you know? Yeah. And that's really what true co-op is, right?
Yeah.
Couch co-op?
I would say so, yeah. That's where it all originated, I would say, is couch co-op. And then, yeah, with the online going on to consoles and everything, that kind of shifted everything. And everybody was able to play with everybody who didn't necessarily have any friends to sit down on a couch with and play a co-op game traditionally, but...
Yeah, like if you didn't live near a lot of friends or something. Mm-hmm. I remember that was what happened when Halo came out. Halo 2 was like the big online thing, and everyone would have to go to their friend's house to do LAN parties with Halo. Mm-hmm. And I remember it was just like, oh my god, now we can just play Halo from our bedrooms, which is awesome, you know, but
Yeah. It was different.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Different.
Did you ever do any do you have any LAN party? 'Cause it's not really co-op, but it's in the same idea.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the ultimate co-op, right? LAN party?
Oh, yeah. I would say LAN parties are like the ultimate like big party.
Mhm.
Yeah. Exactly. It's a party of people. And yeah, I used to do that with Counter-Strike.
Counter-Strike, really?
Yeah, the original Counter-Strike, not Counter-Strike Go. Back in like 2001, 2002, like me and my high school friends, our school provided laptops for us. And we all like hacked the laptops a bit and we found out like the administer code to it.
Mm-hmm.
And we ended up loading up CS on there and we would just sit in the college cafeteria and just have a LAN party there. And it was just badass because there was easily 7, 8 people just all on a cafeteria table just playing.
So you
hooked
took
up
your
on
school
LANs.
laptop and
Yeah.
that they gave you for basically schoolwork, and you just hacked in playing video games on it pretty much.
Yeah.
And so you had a bunch of people from like just friends you knew or like a specific class?
Specific class. Yeah,
Okay.
they were all within my grade. So I mean,
Well, I mean, like, was it a specific class, like gym, like a, was it like a tech?
well, the thing is, it was a collegiate high school.
Oh,
So
okay.
It was very like laid back and like. It was essentially like going to college, but you were still getting high school credits, but you were also earning college credits.
So you were like advanced in a way.
in a way, yeah.
What the hell happened to you?
I'll tell you what. Motivation. I lost it all.
You were ahead of the game. Now so far behind.
No, but those were really fun. I mean, I would say that was kind of the downfall. I mean,
That was the problem. It was too much fun.
too much video games, no. But
Okay, so you and your school, you get together with your friends, and you guys would just LAN party on your laptops in the cafeteria.
yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah,
Would you guys be like yelling at each other? You know,
Yeah,
talking.
yelling, and like we would have teams and everything, and we would set up different map types and like knives only or
Mhm.
scout rifles only, and yeah, it was we played that game, and there was another game that we played on LAN too. Can't remember, but yeah.
I remember that. Yeah, that's actually a pretty cool story. I remember Josh, one of our fellow co-hosts that couldn't be here today. Me and him, I first met Josh and I moved to Mississippi. And sorry, I keep like I keep going to burp. But I don't want to burp on the podcast, so I kept like stifle my hot air because I was drinking that soda, and I ate a bunch of taco pizza before this. So that was a fucking mistake. But so when I met Josh, we lived in Mississippi, and we found this kid that lived in our area at the time who was doing the whole Halo LAN party thing. We're like, well, we're curious about this whole Halo LAN party thing. So me and Josh grabbed a couple of my Xbox controllers and wandered across this military base to this weird ass LAN party with all these people we didn't really know, and they were like shouting at each other up the stairs. So they had like the cords were running up and down this house. They were all over like when you walked in, there was like a dude with a TV in the kitchen. There was like dudes with TVs on the couch. You walked upstairs and there was like normal rooms, people playing, and they were all connected together. And it was like the coolest thing. Like as we were playing the game, everyone was shouting at each other. I remember thinking, this is magic. This is like I could live here. You know what I mean? That's my downfall as well. Because that's so exciting to me as opposed to like a normal party that normal humans would like to go to.
Yeah. Well, it's doing something fun as fuck, you know, playing a video game and having all your friends over and
It's like a
experiencing together.
yeah, you're right. That's a big part of this. The co-op idea is the social interaction. Really, like we can play co-op games online, and it's still pretty fun because we can talk on a headset.
Yeah.
But there was just nothing like that couch co-op experience. Like when we remember we had this cool night. I was trying to think of co-op stories, but specifically with us because we were here. I remember when you first moved to Montana many years ago. So Fish moved up here for a year, and we had like our young apartment, crazy, young adult life years or whatever.
Bachelor type of years, yeah.
Yeah, exactly, bachelor years. And I was trying to get you into Halo, and Halo 1 was kind of old, but we had fun with it. And then Halo 2 came around, and we started messing around with Halo 2. And I remember we had this epic night where we were like, let's try to play it on Legendary. And we were sitting there, and it was like 3 hours of us trying to beat the first level of Halo 2 on Legendary.
Yeah.
We were like scratching and clawing for every weapon we could find.
Yeah, I was thinking about that the other day, actually, how Halo essentially has like probably the best difficulty in their AI and their enemies, and Legendary just really makes that game it brings it to a whole different level instead of just running through the campaign on like normal or anything. Playing it on Legendary, you can really see the beauty in Bungie's AI for their enemies because they were just brutal.
Brutal.
Those level designs and everything.
The brutes were brutal.
They were. Well, it's actually the elites that were giving us trouble.
That's
in that
true.
First area.
There were no brutes in the first. That was the crazy thing. Like the shitty thing was they were still kind of bullet sponges. Like we would unload. You can, because of the nature of those games being fantasy.
Yeah.
You know, like they were not realistic creatures. It wasn't like a headshot would kill them necessarily.
Yeah.
So we would just unload. You would unload weapons. We were like running back to areas we'd already been through to collect like any weapon that had a little bit of ammo on it, and then we'd come back and just dink away. We were so close, man. We were so close to beating that first. But I think they really tuned the difficulty because I've noticed that Halo 3 was much easier on Legendary.
Yeah.
And so I think anyone who's out there that's played Halo 1 or 2 on Legendary knows what it's all. I would say Halo 2 is probably the hardest, unless we were just awful at the time. Because I played.
I don't know. Yeah, I wasn't really prepared, but yeah, going back on it, you could easily start to formulate a better plan than what we had because I've never played Halo on Legendary, so going through it on Legendary, you really don't know what you're going to get into until you actually get into it, and it's brutal. Yeah, it's
such a unique experience. It really is.
Yeah.
I wonder, like, as adults, if we would play that differently. You know, like how would we handle Legendary Halo 2? But yeah, any other cool co-op memories that stick out?
Other co-op.
I remember we did, when we had our apartment days, we did the Gears of War thing, which was LAN party-esque, where we would have 3 or 4 TVs in our apartment. We all hooked up with the Gears of War running around. That was Gears of War at the time. That was like the Halo for 360.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Definitely playing that game. It was something new. It was at third-person view, and it had those lancers just running around,
chainsawing
everybody.
It was a cover shooter. That was like the first cover shooter we ever really like the mainstream got subjected to. If you think about it, you know, Gears of War started that whole thing.
They did, yeah, and it was addictive, and it was just new. That cover shooter stuff was definitely something new, and playing that in multiplayer was...
That was a great co-op game too.
It was.
I think I remember the first night I bought it and I put it under our... we lived in our apartment, and I put it under our Christmas tree, and we couldn't even wait. We were like, let's open this in a week at Christmas time. And then we're like, fuck it, let's just open it. And I remember we just like... I'm sure we did all sorts of weird drugs, and we just played Gears of War all night that first night.
Yeah.
And we were in love, like our roommate at the time, as well as you.
Yeah, we went through the campaign, and then eventually we got some more people over who were playing it. This one guy, we actually got another Xbox 360 in the...
Started hooking up the LAN party.
Yeah.
It was a good time. That was a good memory.
Yeah.
There's so many. I mean, we could... I don't want to rattle through every single one of them, just the ones that matter. But I mean, the concept of the co-op game is just interesting to me because I feel like it's kind of lost now for me a lot. Like, and maybe not as much for you. I know you've played a lot with your, like you said, your wife, and you play a lot of Borderlands together.
Yeah, playing Borderlands. That was like our first love, and essentially that was early in our relationship too. Is she's a gamer, I was a gamer, and I had previously played some Borderlands. Never really got through the game, and I figured, why not try and get my girlfriend into it? And
that's a smart trick. You get them into it, then you have an extra excuse to play the game.
Exactly, yeah. And she just took a big liking to it from the get-go, and she got addicted to the loot system in that game. And she's not really a first-person shooter type of person, but for some reason she
dug it.
Borderlands, yeah. She I guess it was just a class system. She was more of the siren type. We spent...
A lot of Diablo couch co-op. So you actually still get some of that co-op.
Yeah, I do.
Magic.
Yeah.
I don't really anymore. I try to get my wife in those games. It never works, really. Yeah. She's a gamer, but she doesn't do a lot of the co-op stuff. I remember me and my ex-wife, we played through all of Donkey Kong Country Returns and co-op, and that was like...